Alrighty, folks, you know I'm feeling great on a Monday morning because Chairman members went 5-1 yesterday on my premium site. We had the Chiefs, Lions plus 7.5, under in the Ravens game. We also had the Bulls in the NBA as well as the Grizzlies plus 9. And the only way you could have accessed all of those winners is to join my full access, all-inclusive Chairman package. Now, Chairman members get access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast, absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. Now, if you don't need access to every single premium selection of mine, but maybe you could use like a couple a day, you may want to think about signing up for my extra daily pick. You get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you'll also get access to my daily best play during that time frame, absolutely free. It'll be included with your purchase. So essentially, you're going to get access to 2 premium selections of mine for the next month. The math works out to be just 9 cents a day. I'm also 3-0, my last 3 extra daily picks in that package alone. The site is patreon.com/BrockPage. And with that, folks, got ourselves a huge slate of NBA games. So let's go ahead and dive into it. ClippersCav, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off. The LA Clippers are -3 away from home, totals 226. And even though the Clippers have been looking like one of the best teams in the league, they have failed to cover recently against the likes of Minnesota and Toronto. They're also facing a Cleveland squad who's been nearly perfect over the past couple of weeks. The Cavs have gone 9-1 straight up in their last 10, 80% against the number during that time frame. When it comes to defensive play, the Cavs are very tough to shoot against. They have the second lowest defensive field goal percentage in the entire NBA. Donovan Mitchell leads the lineup in steals per game. Jared Allen snags double-digit boards per contest himself. And speaking of rebounds, the Cavs are currently in the top 5 in the East in home offensive boards. Now, injury-wise, Jerome and Garland are still out. Evan Mobley could suit up here this evening. He's been battling that knee injury. Keep an eye on him. I'm pretty optimistic he could get some minutes here. Meanwhile, for the Clippers on the other side, Zubac and Diabate are still inactive for them. Now, total-wise, the Clippers saw unders recently against the likes of the Celtics, Raptors, and T-Wolves. They also went 4-1 to the under in their last 5 out-of-conference road games. Now, Cleveland went 7-3 to the under in their last 10. Give me the Cavaliers +3, under 226. All right, next matchup I have for you. It is going to be KnicksHornets, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. New York's -7, totals 223. Now, the Red Hot Knicks won their last 6 straight, and they played incredibly tough on defense. New York's allowing fewer points a game than any other roster in the East. And no real shock here, these guys have been dominant underneath the basket. New York's averaging more defensive boards per contest than any other team in the entire league besides one. Isaiah Hartenstein snags nearly double-digit rebounds a night, leads the active roster in blocks. Of course, OG Anunoby leads the team in steals per game. Now, they're facing a Charlotte club who lost 8 out of their last 10, and they rank dead last in first quarter scoring. And no real surprise here, the Hornets are making fewer free throws a game than any other roster in the league. Now, injury-wise, Lowry, Hayward, and Williams are still out. Ntilikina and Ball are questionable. Meanwhile, for the Knicks on the other side, Julius Randle's out with a shoulder. Now, total-wise, 8 out of New York's last 10 outings fell under the line. Meanwhile, Charlotte saw unders recently against the likes of the Pistons, Sixers, and Heat. Give me New York -7, under 223. Next game, Pelicans Celtics, 7:30 p.m. East. Boston's -7.5, totals 234. The Celtics are drilling over 40% of their three-pointers in the Garden. And it should come as no surprise. Out of 22 contests in front of their own crowd, the Celtics have gotten the W in all of those except for 2. Drew Holiday is drilling over 41% of his long balls. Jason Tatum leads the lineup in points. They're taking on a Pelicans team who struggles defensively in the second half. They're actually in the bottom 10 in the league in fourth quarter points allowed. And even more concerning is their three-point defense. These guys are in the bottom 10 in three-pointers allowed per game. Now, injury-wise for Boston, Horford and Porzingis are day-to-day. Keep an eye on them. Luke Kornet's actually been downgraded to doubtful. Now, Boston did see overs recently against the likes of Miami and Minnesota. Meanwhile, New Orleans went 6-3 to the over in their last 9. Give me the Celtics minus 7.5, over 234. Next game, Suns Heat, 7:30 East. Miami's -4, totals 229.5. And even though Miami's favored by a couple of buckets, they've struggled against the Western Conference this year. They've got a losing record in their out-of-conference ball games, and a lot of that is due to some poor offensive execution. They're in the bottom 3 in field goals made per game. They're also averaging fewer fourth-quarter points than any other offense besides one. And unfortunately for them, the Suns play some really good defense on the road. They're in the top 3 in the West in defensive field goal percentage in their travels. When it comes to grabbing rebounds, not a lot of clubs are doing it better than Phoenix. These guys are a top 3 defensive rebounding team. Kevin Durant leads the roster in blocks per contest. He also scores 28 points a night on offense. And speaking of offensive production, Devin Booker leads the lineup in points per contest. And he's making 50% of his attempts from the field. Now, injury-wise, Nurkic and Ball are questionable for Phoenix. The Suns did go 7-3 to the under in their last 10. They've also gone 60% to the under this year against the Eastern Conference. Now, the Heat on the other side, they saw 9 out of their last 13 out-of-conference ball games stay under the line. Give me the Suns +4, under 229.5. Next matchup, Jazz Nets, 7:30 p.m. East. Utah's -1, totals 235. Now, the Jazz lost 3 out of their last 5, and they've been terrible on the road this year. Out of 26 contests away from Salt Lake, the Jazz have a win percentage of just .346, and a lot of that is due to some poor defensive effort. They're allowing a $122 a night away from home. And as sloppy as Brooklyn's been this season, they're still doing a nice job of getting second chances. These guys are a top 3 offensive rebounding team at home. Nick Claxton averages double-digit boards a night, 64% shooting from the field. Meanwhile, Mikal Bridges leads the roster in points per game. Now, injury-wise, Finney-Smith and Sharp are out for Brooklyn. When it comes to the total, the Nets saw overs recently against the likes of the Clippers, Lakers, and Thunder. Meanwhile, the Jazz went 7-3 to the over in their last 10. Give me Brooklyn +1, over 235. Next, and yes, I know Ben Simmons is back. I don't care about his 5 points a game. It's irrelevant to me. All right, next game. Lakers, Rockets, 8 o'clock East. The Lakers are -1.5, totals 230 and a hook. Now, the Lakers have had a tough time getting the W on the road. Out of 22 contests away from the Crypt, the Lakers got the W only 7 times. And in those road games, the Lakers have rebounded quite poorly. They're in the bottom 5 in the West in boards per game away from home. And unfortunately for them, the Rockets are one of the best home offensive rebounding teams in the West. And speaking of those, speaking of home games, well, spit it out. Houston 16-8, straight up in the Toyota Center, and they've made it very difficult to score points there. Houston in the top 5 in defensive points per game at home. Freddie VanVleet leads the roster in blocks. Alpi Sengun's the club leader in steals, second in defensive boards. Now, injury-wise, Tari Eason still inactive for Houston. LeBron and AD questionable for the Lakers. Now, LA saw unders recently against the likes of Dallas, OKC, and Phoenix. Meanwhile, the Rockets have gone 63% to the under against in-conference opponents at home. Give me Houston +1.5, under 230 and a hook. Next game, T-Wolves, Thunder, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. OKC is -2, totals 225. What am I missing here? Oh, there we go. T-Wolves Thunder, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. OKC's -2, totals 225. And speaking of the total, OKC saw unders in their last 2 straight, 8-2 to the under in their last 10. And in their last 10 gatherings with the T-Wolves, the under cashed in 70% of those meetings. Now, Minnesota's seen their fair share of unders recently as well. They saw their last 3 straight stay under the line. Unders against the likes of San Antonio, Brooklyn, and Washington. They also went 6-3 to the under in their last 9. And as far as selecting a winner in this one, this game's being featured as my $1.99 daily best play on my premium site. But as far as making a free pick is concerned, give me the under 225. Next game, Kings, Grizzlies, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Sacramento's -8, totals 224.5. Now, the Kings won their last 3 straight, and they've done a nice job covering the point spread. They got the job done in 6 out of their last 9, and they're covering in 64% of their road games. And a lot of that is due to some solid offensive output. Sacramento's a top 5 field goal making team in the NBA. De'Aaron Fox leads the lineup in scoring. Domantas Sabonis makes 44% of his long balls. Now, Sabonis is also the league leader in rebounds per game. Now, they're facing a Memphis club who struggles grabbing defensive boards themselves. They're in the bottom 3 in the West in defensive rebounds. And when it comes to offensive production, no one's worse than these guys. The Grizzlies are currently dead last in point production. Now, injury-wise, Rose, Clark, Bane, and LaRavia are still out for the Grizzlies. Luke Kennard is questionable. When it comes to the total, the Grizzlies saw the under cash in 3 out of their last 4. Unders against the likes of the Pacers, Heat, and Raptors. Memphis has also gone 14-6 of the under in the FedEx Forum. Now, Sacramento's seen 68% of their road games stay under the line. Give me Sacramento -8, under 224.5. Next game, Wizards, Spurs, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. San Antonio is -4, totals 240. And even though the Spurs are favored by a couple of baskets in this spot here, they've certainly had their struggles on D. These guys allow 123 points a night in their own building. They're also grabbing fewer defensive boards at home than any other roster besides one. And they're facing a Washington club who loves to score points late. These guys are a top 10 fourth quarter scoring team. When it comes to shooting from the field, not many teams make more field goals than these guys. The Wizards are in the top 5 in the East in field goals made per game. Kyle Kuzma leads the lineup in scoring. Marvin Bagley makes 58% of his field goals. Now, injury-wise, Isaiah Livers is questionable for Washington. Zach Collins is questionable for the Spurs. San Antonio went 4-2 to the over in their last 6. They're also 15-7 to the over in the Frostbank Center. Meanwhile, Washington saw overs recently against the likes of OKC and this very Spurs team. Give me Washington +4, over 240. Next contest, Magic, Mavericks, 8:30 p.m. East. Dallas is -4, totals 229. Now, Dallas is a very difficult team to guard. They're making more three-pointers a night than any other roster besides one. They also have the Western Conference's leading scorer in Luka Doncic. He's averaging 34 points a night. He's making nearly 50% of his field goals. Now, Josh Green is drilling 40% of his attempts from three-land. They're facing a sputtering Orlando squad who lost 7 out of their last 10. And I'll tell you, they're really not built for a track meet offensively. Orlando makes fewer three-pointers a game than any other roster in the league. And no real surprise here, the Magic's in the bottom 5 in point production in the second half. Now, injury-wise, Fultz is questionable. Harris is out. Meanwhile, for the Mavericks, Exum, Powell, and Jones are questionable. Kyrie is also inactive with a thumb. The Mavs saw 7 out of their last 10 stay under the line. Unders against the likes of Sacramento, Phoenix, and Boston. Meanwhile, the Magic went 7-3 to the under in their last 10 themselves. They're also 63% to the under against the Eastern Conference. Give me Dallas -4, under 229. Next matchup should be a good one. Bucks Nuggets, 9 o'clock East. Denver's -4, totals 238.5. And speaking of the total, the Nuggets saw overs recently against the likes of the Sixers, Pelicans, and Pistons. Meanwhile, Milwaukee went 60% to the over in their last 10. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 out-of-conference ball games. When it comes to selecting a winner in this one, this game is being featured as my extra daily pick on my premium site. But as far as making a free play is concerned, give me the over 238.5. And with that, folks, we're going to dive into our next and final breakdown for the video. It's going to be in that Sixers-Blazers game, 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Philadelphia's -8.5 on the road, totals 224. The Sixers have done a terrific job in defending the deep ball. They currently have the lowest defensive three-point percentage in the entire NBA. They also play some really tough defense late. They're allowing fewer third-quarter points than any other roster besides one. And they're facing a Portland squad who lost 7 out of their last 10 themselves. And I'll tell you, they've been pitiful getting to the basket. Portland's got the lowest offensive field goal percentage in the entire NBA. They're also averaging fewer points per contest than any other roster besides Memphis. Scoot Henderson makes just 36% of his field goals. Toumani Camara makes just 27% of his attempts from beyond the arc. Now, injury-wise, Williams and Brown are out. Shaedon Sharpe's questionable. Meanwhile, for Philly, Harris, Embiid, and Maxey are questionable. Lofton, Covington, and Melton are out. Philly saw unders recently against the likes of the Nuggets, Hornets, and Kings. Meanwhile, Portland went 7-3 to the under in their last 10. Give me the Sixers -8.5, under 224. And with that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Give me Cleveland +3, under 226. New York -7, under 223. Celtics -7.5, over 234. I'm 3-0 my last 3 extra daily picks on my premium site. Suns +4, under 229.5. Nets +1, over 235. Rockets +1.5, under 230 and a hook. I like the under 225 in the T-Wolves Thunder game. Sacramento -8, under 224.5. Wizards +4, over 240. Mavericks -4, under 229. I like the over 238.5 in the Milwaukee-Denver game. And give me the Sixers -8.5, under 224. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium site. Now, if you do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks that Chairman membership, it's a full access, all-inclusive package. It gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. But most importantly, guys, gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, folks, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium page at patreon.com/BrockPage.